Hey guys, and welcome back to my Let's Play of the PlayStation 2 and Wii version of Sonic Unleashed. And guys, get ready. Because for the next couple parts, it's nothing but werehog. So at this point in the game, you can choose between two continents. You can either just stay in Shamar and do the night stages, or you can head over to Adabat and do its night stages. And this is the point in the game where they really start to get quite obnoxious with the amount of werehog that you are going to be playing. Because now, each continent has 4 werehog stages. 4! And it's not like they're any shorter. This is where they really start to put emphasis on the werehog, as if having 3 acts wasn't already enough. It's like, this video is 32 minutes long. Just Jungle Joyride. That's all this is. This is all 4 acts of Jungle Joyride Night. And this, I would say, is the shorter of the two. I would say Arid Sands is probably longer. Both of them do have one stage that's quite short, and actually in both of them is the third one. And I guess this is where they ran out of names, because only now are we getting a stage called Starry Night. I mean, I don't mind the werehog, it's just this much of it, and it doesn't help that Jungle Joyride really isn't a very interesting night stage, like any of them. This one's not too bad, it's got kind of a unique look to it. I'm pretty sure Adabat was a lot smaller than this a moment ago. But, so, I don't know, there's so much werehog. And I hope... Jungle Joyride's got an unusual music, I find. It kind of sounds depressing. At the beginning, anyway. I'm not really sure how to describe it. I always just find the music to be kind of depressing. Rather than, like... The rest of the tunes are all quite jazzy. They put you in the mood to get up and go. The music is easily the best thing about the werehog, but even then... it doesn't mean anything, because all you ever hear when you're playing as the werehog is just da 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 da. And I give you this warning now. This is not the worst of it. Even with 4 stages, here and next, it's not the worst. The numbers go up further. And the werehog still looks so weird as he spins around like that. I don't know why he spins around. In the HD original, all he does is just jump, so I don't know why the spinning thing exists. It does make it quite difficult to jump off when you're playing with the Wii Remote and Nunchuck. Thankfully, this is on PlayStation 2. Unfortunately, because it's on PlayStation 2, it's kind of hard to see at times. Unfortunately, I went the wrong way, and I just managed to grab a hold of it, but I do die a few times in this level. And it's all because, actually, it's this little part right here. This has got a really annoying jump to make. Because they decide to place Dark Bat snipers here. And, well, they snipe. Simple as that. They do that. I could probably, if I was in the right position, I might be able to dash over there. But, it doesn't matter because I recorded this over a week ago. It's too late. It's too late. Still not as bad as that section at the end of HD Eggman Land. Because at the very least, they give you a warning. The Dark Bat snipers actually glow when they're about to fire a shot. Unlike the HD version where it just happens. But I guess you can time it, but still. You're still trying to go from one Dark Bat sniper to another, and you can't even swing on them. Yeah, I could definitely make that with a dash jump. If I did that a moment ago, I probably could have avoided that. When I didn't die, but I fell down. Or did I? I can't remember now. I'm not even properly paying... How can I not properly pay attention? I am literally watching this video. That, on the other hand, is just an embarrassment. Let's try that again with more success. So they've decided to ditch the red nightmares now. All we're going to be facing from here on outwards are deep nightmares. Because this is just how the game decides to add to the challenge. At first, it's just regular nightmares, and the odd deep nightmare here and there. Then they decide to make them stronger by having you face the red ones. Now they're going to be stronger still by getting rid of the nightmares completely and just giving you the deep nightmares. I really don't know how many times I have to say the word nightmare in that last paragraph. It also really likes to spam the spikes at times. These guys are still annoying though. Luckily I have iron crates. There is a little item box that contains some force up there. It's a waste of time, I'm not going to bother. I know I generally say I like to get every single thing possible, but in that occasion I just can't be bothered. It's going to take too long. Thankfully this stage isn't that long. I would say Jungle Joyride is shorter than Arid Sands Night. The third acts of each one are quite short. They're some of the shortest werehog stages, but I would still say that overall this one's longer. This one's shorter. So like the last stage is shorter, the first stage is shorter. Even if they share target times. It's like Starry Night, the time limit is incredibly easy to beat. And this is also where we really begin to get to the part where you begin the next stage right where you end it. Like, we're going to start the next stage just a few meters ahead of the goal ring. Only now there's no longer well, no, there is an invisible wall. We somehow make it past the invisible wall. And we have finally gotten the werehog's final ability, the Earth Shaker. Quite useful in the HD version. Really useful here. Oh, and we got some new... Well, we got the training thing over in Apophis, which we're not going to be doing for some time. By that I mean in the next part, because that will be... Well, this is where I ended the session, so that'll be like the first thing I do when I get to recording the next parts. And we got something in Spagonia. But... Restless Coastside. Such a misleading name. This makes me want to rest. It is now time for the most boring werehog mission in the entire game. This mission, it's not the longest, it's actually kind of short, but it has got quite a difficult time limit to make, because this is what you're doing. You are waiting for these planks of wood to slowly make their way around these whirlpools, which don't actually suck anything in. And this is all you're doing. You can see it over there, those platforms up in the distance. It's not the actual end of the stage, but it is near enough. But you also need to collect the force. That sounds really Star Wars-y, but you have to collect the force, and this was a waste of time. No, it wasn't. I collected this. You have to collect the rings. You have to collect the item boxes. If you want to 100% this game, you are going to be waiting so much. This is all I'm doing. Like, this is literally all I'm doing. Just standing here. This is how you entertain yourself. Just punch a few things. Just be careful, because the werehog does move forward with each punch. I got a bit too close to the edge there. I wouldn't, however, recommend doing it on this. This is exciting! You know, Sky Chase Zone wasn't very exciting in Sonic 2, but at least you could do things. There were actual enemies for you to try and destroy. You know, you didn't really have to worry about falling off of the plane unless you were supersonic or used a spin dash. Other than that, Tails always caught Sonic, but you know, this time we're floating on little platforms. If you pull the lever, clonk, pull the lever, clonk. It'll make that platform appear. It is timed, I think, because there's always like a ticking sound effect, but if it's timed, it is the most generous time limit in the history of video games. It's so long, I don't know why they didn't bother just keeping it there. And yeah, I did skip those rings just now. I may as well. Because I think I only just about make the time limit for this one. I think. Find out at the end. You can't go under that platform. Even though it looks like you can, it is low enough to push you off. But look at it. Look at that camera angle. That is so helpful to see where I'm going, isn't it? Really helpful. Love the camera work here. But it was a bad decision for me to go up here because now I have to wait for another one of those platforms to come round. Hope that I land on it. Because now I have to go and collect the item box on the other side. And again, this is all you're doing. You're just waiting around. How is this a restless coastline? This is all you're doing. You're just resting. You're just standing there. This is also how you find out that Sonic the Werehog doesn't actually have any impatient animations. Sonic the Hedgehog does. And it wasn't until the practice run for this game that I actually found that out. 10 years later, I finally found out that Sonic actually does have an impatient animation in this game. Not as many though. Like in the HD version, both Sonic and the Werehog almost fall asleep. Which is kind of funny really, but that doesn't happen here. The only other game I can think of where I don't think Sonic has an impatient animation is Sonic Heroes. It's like they speak with no subtitles for some reason, but they don't really move. I think very, very occasionally they will do some sort of movement, but it's very rare. They usually just speak. Or they yawn, or they comment on the level. Which is cool. I like that they comment on the level. Sometimes they say other things. Rouge will say, "I haven't seen the president lately," which is a nice little callback to Adventure 2, I find. It's a bit weird that Shadow begins Casino Park by saying, "Cool city." But if in his idle voices, he'll say, "What a worthless city." Which is a bit backwards, but anyway. You shouldn't go for this dark guy back. He's going to start rising. I guess he is properly timed. Otherwise, that's really, really annoying. You really don't need to grab onto that one. I don't even think you need to double jump. Don't know why that dark bat's even there. Finally past the whirlpool. We're almost at the end of the level. See, this really is a boring level. Nothing down by that side of the pier. There's a bunch of rocks here. Break through this. And now we're introduced to a new enemy. Eventually, once I've destroyed a few things. So I think they wanted you to go to Arid Sands first, because that's where we have the little introduction thing where the enemies appear. But since we're doing this first, we're not going to see it. That's the Earthshaker, and this is Big Mother. She is... Camera, you're doing a great job here. So Big Mother is incredibly strong, just like Tyson. And what she does is she spawns in a load of little Rexes. Every single time you defeat the red Rexes, she will then regurgitate even more of them. Her attacks are very strong. A lot of them create shockwaves because she's a big character, and big characters in video games always have to create shockwaves. She has the same music as the Titan. Both of them, the Titan and Big Mother, are essentially the mini-bosses. A little extra challenge, but... No, actually, I think there are a couple points where you do encounter two Big Mothers at once. There's no red variation, weirdly. Which is odd, because I would say Big Mother is easier to defeat than Tyson. Just. Not by much, but just. And I think it's considered to be the lesser of the two in the HD version, because if you perform the quick time events, Big Mother gives you 20,000, Tyson gives you 40,000. But enemies are, in general, harder to defeat in the HD version as well. And they have more attacks. Which is why I'm very glad there's no Red Titan in the HD version. And that we also have Lightning Masters, my other least favourite enemy in the game. There's three. If I had to say it, three. Couldn't really pick which one is the worst. So we have the Red Killer Bees, we have Fire Masters, and we have Lightning Masters. We'll be seeing the Fire Masters in Arid Sands. But here we're introduced to the Lightning Masters. So we already had regular Dark Masters, who just hit you with a stick. And we had the Fright Masters, which summon frights and hit you with a stick. They all hit you with a stick. Lightning Masters shoot electricity at you with great accuracy. Look at that. I have only 10 seconds left. But they shoot at you with great accuracy. And when you do enough damage to them, or like at the end of a combo, they will teleport away and they will fire a shot at you instantly. When you get hit by electricity, you get stunned for a few seconds. That is why I hate them so much. That attack is near impossible to avoid. Because you don't, they will teleport away when you're in the middle of beating them up. It's completely random on when they do it. It's completely random on where they're going to reappear. And they are so accurate with it. You literally get, it's like a second between appearing and shooting. If that. And obviously, since you're attacking them, you're going to be in the midst of performing one of your attacks while they teleport away. So while you're recovering, you're then going to get shots. That is why I hate the Lightning Masters. They're not so annoying in the HD version. They are there, but they don't teleport away and then instantly shoot you. And their attacks are overall just slower. And the Fire Masters are the same. They have this dodge... It's not really dodging, they're a charging attack. That's what I'm trying to say. Dodge is the complete opposite. They charge at you, which they don't do in the HD version. And you can still punch them in the HD version. Which you can't do to Fire Masters here, without getting rid of the fire first. The Dark Bats also have a lightning variant. And that's the first thing it will do is surround itself with electricity. You can't hurt it when it does that. Afterwards it makes itself vulnerable. And then it's like the Dark Bat snipers. So it will charge up an electrical shock, which it then fires at you. And then it repeats itself. So it's shield, shot, shield, shot. It's a bit worrying when you have to try and ride on one, or swinging on one, which we're going to be doing in the next level. No, actually, not even that. It's at the end of this level. Yeah, sides of that tree. Also, this is one of the only times where Sonic automatically just walks. He doesn't run, so you will have to activate the dash if you want to get any sort of speed. Go behind the right roots here to grab an item box, and then proceed to climb the tree. So this was Deep Jungle, I think was the name of the level. This is one of the shortest werehog acts in the game. But it has a lot of narrow platforms, and this part is a pain. Trying to shoot these Dark Bat snipers. I don't know what happens if you run out of top fights. I guess you just made life a lot harder for yourself. And try not to do that. God, that looks wrong. Just because they've fallen down, the Dark Bat snipers are not dead. They will fly back up again, as this guy is showing. That made no sense. How am I slamming it on the ground if it's in the air? But thankfully that takes care of that. I said before that I never really used the beatdown, but I'm making way more use of it in this playthrough than I do normally. It's actually a lot more useful than I thought. But yeah, this is just how fast the werehog walks. So when you get to a bit more smaller platforms, Sonic tends to just automatically go into his walking animation. He no longer runs. We saw it in Rising Dragon Falls, and I think we saw it a few other times. Here it's the entire level. I think you can swing up high enough on that pole to get yourself back up as well, but it gives you a dark fright. That wasn't the way you were supposed to get down to that platform, as the camera made clear, but still, I made it. That's all that matters. And this, all that really happens, it just tries to come up with as many ways as possible to get you off of these platforms. It's not much of a deep jungle, it's really more of a high jungle. With some massive waterfalls in the background, which thankfully, unlike Sonic 06, regardless of which version you're playing, the water actually falls. I don't know why the water goes upwards in Sonic 06, it does. Even in the fan remakes, they look so promising. I really want to play it, but I don't think my laptop's strong enough. It looks awesome, but it's like the waterfall still goes upwards. And Sonic doesn't actually get injured if he hits something in the max speed section. Which is glorious! These platforms do fall down, so don't stand on them. Thankfully they take forever to fall down. Right. Firstly, this is where I died so many times I was just like, right, I'm just going to keep going, I don't care what happens to my life counter anymore, and I discovered when you finish a stage, you get your lives back. After I kept restarting so many levels on my first playthrough. Even though that's the opposite of how it works in Sonic Heroes, my only other Sonic game at the time. Yeah, this is what I do. You are given plenty of time for this. You never charge. The start bat never charges up like a sniper shot. Take that, HD Eggman Land. But just in case, I always wait for him to do that shock. Because I assume he can still do it while you're swinging on it. I don't see why it wouldn't. And now we can just beat these guys. Earth Shaker. We're going to want to keep pressing the button. Otherwise, Sonic will do like this, all of those punches. He just doesn't do the last one. So you're going to have to keep pressing the button if you want to do that last really strong punch. But that works great in crowds. It is very satisfying actually when you are surrounded by nightmares and then you can just beat them all like that. We're going to be, especially when we get to Eggman Land, I'm going to be able to do that a few times and it is really satisfying. It's tricky because you're surrounded and most likely one of them is going to attack you from behind and then you no longer do the ability, you just get hurt. But if you are able to do it, oh, it's satisfying. It's all because if there's one thing the werehog does do, it's have loud sound effects that make hitting an enemy satisfying. Especially when there's lots of them in ones. Even though many of them are generic and stock sound effects, it works for me. Just when all you hear is just the sound of you smacking and punching a nightmare in the chest. Even though you start to get bored of it after a while. Now for the longest of Jungle Joyride stages, Heavenly Ruins. I would question how many of what we're about to see are floating in the air, but that's nothing new for Sonic. We've been seeing that since Green Hill Zone, so I'm not going to bother. What I will say is I hate this part. It's bad enough that you're waiting for the spikes and trying to get the rings, but trying to get Sonic off of one of these rails, well not rails, off of one of these glowy ledge things is very difficult because so far all we've ever had to do is just either climb up or let go. This, for the first and only time, is when we actually have to jump off of these things. Besides the fact that you are given very little time to get past some of these sets of spikes whilst collecting rings, Sonic doesn't like to jump off. It's like that's the only jump you can do if you are on the top of the ledge. When you're underneath it, Sonic just doesn't like to do anything. It's like all he does is just wait around. And it's really annoying. It's hard enough trying to get him to just get him to go down in the first place. But amazingly, he actually did it that time. But that part normally gives me so much trouble. I'd recommend trying to get this thing first, because I don't think this platform waits for you. But it waits for you a bit. I think it then moves after a while, not so much you just getting on it. So then it takes you away. I gotta say, this seems really ahead of the time compared to everything else that's around here. Yeah, everything is floating in midair. We can't even see the bottom of the water. Alright, here we go. The Red Titan, strongest enemy in the game. Make use of that shield. Unfortunately, because I died, I lost my unleashed gauge. Which means I have to face this guy the hard way. But even if you manage to use your unleashed Earthshaker ability, it's still not enough to get this guy's health down to 0, so you will get hit when you're trying to do that. And it would be the Killer Bee that gives me even more problems. Forget the massive Titan, it's the Killer Bee. Don't get rid of all these crates. Well, no, you can get rid of those crates. Don't destroy these crates, so you won't be able to get up here. So it's just about enough for you to grab this item box. If you break those boxes, no, you can't even try with those other ones. Unless you can get Sonic in the right position where he drops the box on the top of the ledge. Right, you'd think this thing would be incredibly awkward to move. But it's actually really easy. So first, jump on the platform. Don't worry, this is not heavy at all. Look how quickly I can spin this thing around. Hasn't rusted or hasn't started to rust or anything. We're gonna have to dash jump up to these. You'll just about make it. Completely define the laws of physics as you do it. But that's how you get up here. Do the same on the other side. Eventually, there we go. And it's the exact same thing. Moving on. Yep. Let's make sure I spin this thing the right way. That'll do. Oh, thank God. Dark bats. I was thinking, what did I do here? There's no way I can make that jump. Let's open up some doors. There is an item box in one of these. Like the actual collectible item box is not that thing. Is it the left door? Is it the middle door? Is it the right door? I think it's the middle door. Yeah, it's the middle door. Beats me what's in this door. Survey says, oh, it's just another one of these things. Each door is nice to me, which is more than can be said when we get to Shamar. Great. 2 of these guys, because that's what we wanted. 2 lightning masses that can attack you at any point. I would say try using the beatdown, but it's kind of hard to do when you also have killer bees. Thankfully, they decided not to teleport away, which is incredibly rare. Not very often do they decide to do that. Now, you should be able to pick up stun killer bees. It didn't want to work this time. We just can't move on, can we? Right. Double Titans. And that is your unleashed version of the Earth Shaker. Again, a regular move. Wasn't fast enough. A regular move in the HD version. A lot simpler to pull off as well. Just hold down a button. Just hold down the square button. Whatever the 360 version is. You have to charge it up, but that doesn't take long. But it's a really cool ability to use. Right, first thing you want to do, go around the side. Wait, I mean, I say first thing. You can do this in whatever order you want, but go around the side for that item box, and then open up this door to get a Gaia Force item box. Don't know why this needs to appear. There's plenty of platforms to help us get back, but I won't complain. I wonder if these waterfalls look any better on the Wii. I imagine in this level you could probably see everything a lot better, because that applies to just about everything. It may make Sonic the Werehog glow in the dark. It may make Sonic the Hedgehog have laser vision. But the Wii version does at the very least allow you to actually see. So those are your options. Better lighting or better control. Want better lighting? Get the Wii version. Want better control? Get the PS2 version. Want a better game? Get the HD version. Still want a better game? Get Sonic Mania CD or 3 and Knuckles. Dare I say 2? I love Sonic 2, but it's got some difficulty problems. And it's also one of the glitchiest 2D Sonic games. Can't tell you how many times I died on the final boss because Sonic or Knuckles or Tails decided just to go straight through it at the moment where I'm supposed to attack it. This is another one I just barely make. This one's awkward because this Fright Master likes to just keep going around and away from you. So again, beatdown is useful. I think you have to fight 3 of them. When you get rid of the fright, then you can finish the level. At least the area at the end is very pretty. Finally there! We are finally there! Okay, actually this time it's a lot more generous than I remember. Okay, it's 9 minutes, not 8 minutes. Good, then it doesn't need to be nearly as tense as I was feeling at the time. And at the very least, when you get a lot of these werehog stages with a lot of tough enemies, you do get a lot of force to get the upgrades faster, which is probably why they're more spread out by this point. And you do get quite a lot of items. How many things did I pick up? I mean, that last one I always get, but that was a lot of items. But we're still not done with the werehog. We still have another 4 night stages and a boss fight to go through. So it is time to head back to Arid Sands and do its night stages instead. So I will see you guys then.